Hi, my name is Stephanie from The Well-Doing Mama, and I'm the mom of 8 kids, ages 22 down to 6. And I've been homeschooling all those years. I think we counted up, it's 18 official years of homeschooling that I'll start in the fall. And my goal is to encourage homeschool moms that they can do this and that they can do it well. So, today I'm going to talk about academic homeschooling. What do I mean when I say academic homeschooling? That we're academic homeschoolers. So, there's a lot of reasons people homeschool. And I have a video out on why we homeschool. And one of the reasons that we chose to homeschool is for the academic reasons. We want our kids to use all of their gifts that God has given them as well as they can. And so for some of our kids, that means that they have high academic needs and we need to meet that. For instance, my oldest was reading before I ever started teaching her to read, before kindergarten. She was actually even reading out of the hymnal at a very young age. So I have some notes, so I'm going to be referring to some notes as I talk. So if you see me kind of turn sideways or whatever, that's a little bit of So what is an academic homeschooler? How I am defining it is that we have the goal of developing and using the abilities and talents God has given us to their full ability for His glory. So we want to teach our kids that they can do hard things. Yes, they may look at a math lesson and go, this looks really hard, and that math lesson might be really hard, but they have the ability to succeed. Now, obviously, every kid's ability is going to vary and be different, and as parents and the educators of that child, we need to adjust and teach so that they can learn. I am a big believer in our kids learning for mastery, that they need to learn the concepts and learn them well. We're not trying to flip through the book as fast as we can. We're not trying to pass it for a test and never have to think about it again. We are really trying to master a subject, especially with math or English, for instance. Those really need good mastery of the material. So that is one of our goals, is that our kids learn to master the material and they can do the hard things. I am there to support them. We can look up videos. My husband could help them if he needed to. If we really needed to, we would pull in some outside resources. Fortunately for us, math happens to be a subject that we're both totally capable of helping our kids with. It does mean I have to put in the energy and extra ability to study ahead of them. So I've had to relearn. I'm through relearning algebra. Next year I'll be focused a lot on geometry. I've done some geometry with my older kids. My oldest two that went, I had a friend that did trigonometry with one of my older kids, and then one of my older kids is just so good at math that he could learn it all from the book himself. So I'm relearning these subjects with my kids as I need to, because I can do hard things too. I can relearn math, and that is totally doable. Or you can find a friend who knows math well. Trade some subjects. Okay. We want to use our time. Part of why we're academic homeschoolers, we want to use our time wisely and intentionally. We do not want to be lazy about how we use our time. Now, I'm not saying that someone who's not as academically focused is being lazy, but for us, it could turn into that if we are not careful. And kids see, we want to be intentional with how we use our time, and we don't want to become lazy by not being focused on doing good work and doing the things that we need to do to learn and grow our brains and our mind. Okay, so there are 4 basic subjects that our kids need to learn: math, English or language arts, science, social studies. Those are the 4 basics. And those we hit on every year. We live in a state that requires health also, which can be accomplished in a couple of different ways. We have done health books in the past, just real simple. Becca's the easiest one to just pull out a little health book and do. But those are the 4 big subjects that we have to master or learn each year. Then beyond that, we add in extra things. Now, what I found that works best is not to add in all the extra things every single year. I really like to add in logic. There's some really great logic books for kids to work through. And this isn't even talking about fallacies and those things that they get to in the upper grades. But in the elementary grades, just they call them logic books. They're thinking through puzzles, basically. And it helps their brain develop some good cognitive thinking skills. We also like to do music, art. We do state history. So I have a state history book, and 1 year each of the kids has to go through that state history book. I might add in extra science or extra history reading or extra good literature that I just want them to read. Our goal is that we are using our time to grow our minds in lots of good ways. I really like to have them even read like missionary biographies. Oh, and Bible. Some years we do Bible as a family, and some years I have them do a Bible workbook on their own. And both ways, they are growing their brains on their own. Now, I have seen some parents that their kids are super successful at math. I say kindergarten math, which kindergarten math for a lot of kids is fairly simple, right? You're counting, you're just learning your numbers. And I see parents go, oh, my kid's doing so great. We're going to do 3 lessons a day, which in our math would be totally doable, especially if you didn't have a lot of other kids you were doing school with. And then their kid just gets further and further ahead. But by 3rd grade, they're supposed to be doing 5th grade math. And all of a sudden, that 5th grade math is too much. Now, I have found 3rd grade is kind of a level where I've seen kids kind of level off between 3rd and 4th grade, those grades. Whereas if they kind of started advanced, they kind of level off 3rd or 4th grade. Maybe not always, but that's just been my experience. My encouragement to moms is to not just get further and further ahead in the material, but to expand in a broader way the things your kids are learning. If they're really great at math, add in some more logic puzzles. Add in some other types of math. Maybe have them measure some more things. Learn their math facts a little better. Because they may not be ready, if you just keep pushing them ahead in the material, they may not be ready to do the advanced fractions that are needed in 5th grade when they're in 3rd grade. Their brains just aren't ready, and they're definitely not going to be ready for the amount of work that is needed to do a 5th grade math textbook. So my encouragement is not to push them ahead in the subjects, but to broaden what you are learning. Add in some other types of learning to go with it. Okay, so we also like to add to our skill base. So those are our core subjects that we focus on. But then we also like to add to our skill base. So skills, artwork, handicrafts, like crocheting or wood burning, sewing, making posters. We use 4-H for this purpose. And so what is really great is 4-H has a whole book. We don't do animals because we live in the city and I have no desire to try to make animals work. But we do lots of what they call static exhibits. And we try to use this to expand our knowledge base and to expand our skills, whether it's we're learning to sew. I had a kid sew a pillow this year. I had a kid sew a project that will be like for little kids. And then another one, what did she sew? Oh, a hot pad to go in our kitchen. Actually, I think she needs to finish it. We have several projects we are not finished with. This has not been our most focused 4-H year, but I love using 4-H to have the kids learn and expand their skill base. And then they get to turn them in and they get judged on them and they get ribbons and they get prize money. And so, gardening is another one, learning types of flowers and types of trees. So there's lots of great things that they can learn and grow in. And so 4-H is a great opportunity to add to our learning and to expand. And it also gives us something productive to do with our time. Now, I know some people spend tons of time outside, and if that's your family, that is amazing. We are not huge outside time people. I mean, like we go to the park and I like to go on little nature hikes, but those are all 45 minutes from our house. There's almost nothing close by. I like to take them on bike rides, those kinds of things. But that is fairly limited. We don't live out in the country. We're not going to spend 3 or 4 hours a day outside. But I also don't want them on electronics all the time. I want them to be growing their brains and using their time wisely and for God's glory. And so that is part of why we expand by doing some of these projects so that our time and our days are used well. We also live in an area where it feels like about half the year you can, but it's just hard to be outside. So we use 4-H to add to a lot of that learning also. We like to do things as a family that are thinky things, that are developing our brain skills. And one of the big things we like to do as a family is play games, play board games. A lot of nights you will find us at our table and we will have bananagrams out, which if you don't know, these little tiles kind of look like Scrabble tiles, and you build words out of them. All but the 6-year-old can play this game, and they may not always win, they may never win, but they're still playing the game and they're building words out of the letters that they have in front of them. We have a couple of card games that are real quick. They're not always academic games, although I do have some of those that we have used in the past. Not as much the last few years. It feels like we've stayed pretty busy the last few years to not needing those, but I have those also. But any kind of game is going to engage their brain on thinking through, how can I best do this? What would be my best strategy? How can I win? And so their brain is thinking through all of those things, whether it's adding up cards or we have a Tetris game, I think it was called Upsel, we played the other night. And you're looking at the pieces and you have to stack them in and see how you can get your pieces and which pieces do you want. So games are an excellent way, and they're a great way to spend time as a family. They also are a great way to help build family, sibling bonds and sibling relationships. So that's another great advantage of that. One of the things I don't do is I don't allow the word bored to be said in my home. And I have some friends that if my kid says bored, I'm giving them a chore. I just don't allow the word bored. It's like a bad word in our house. If a kid can't find a way to use their time productively, I will assign it. And I've had some kids that can't stay busy or focused, and I've assigned them things to do. I have a list every day for the kids of what they need to accomplish. And I try to make sure it's a full list because I want their day focused on doing good academic work, whether it's academic or 4-H work, piano, art projects, those things. I want their days focused and their time used wisely. And like I said, if we're going to spend time outside, I take that into account, okay? Or if we have an extracurricular that we're going to be doing, I might give them more downtime in the afternoon to allow for them to have the energy to do that extracurricular in the evening. I have done several different things. Sometimes I'll just list out things for them to do. I have also, when I had younger kids, I took pictures of some different activities we had, and I made one that was an art sheet and I laminated it. I made one that was learning toys. I'm trying to remember the third. Building toys. And I had these 3 laminated sheets with pictures of the things we had. And each day the kid would take that sheet, pick one, mark it. And we used wet erase markers for this. He would go do that activity for 30 minutes. We'd set the timer, 30 minutes in one spot doing that activity. When the timer went off, we picked it up. He picked a different sheet, picked another activity, 30 minutes doing that activity. Put it away, and then do the next one. That was an hour and a half time. Now, it wasn't always back to back. Sometimes I did his school in there, or he might have a break if we were going to go run outside and play for a little bit. So it wasn't always back to back to back. But during our school time, I think he was 3, 4, 5 when we were using those, he would have that hour and a half of time where his brain was focused on an activity and he was learning to sit and do one thing. And I think our brains, every kid is different, but I think that there is some value in training and teaching kids on doing things for a period of time. And if 30 minutes is too long, you start with 10 or 15 minutes. And then over the weeks, you add to it. And you're really training those kids to focus on something. And that builds some good brain muscles. We do push our kids to stay focused on their work. When they want to go wander around and get distracted and play with a sibling or start having this a conversation, I'm like, nope, it is school time. It is work time. And we know that it is school work time and we need to stay focused and we need to get our work done. We need to mark off our list and we need to keep going through our day. There are going to sometimes be distractions. We're going to sometimes change our schedule, but in general, we need to stay focused on our day. If we are having a struggle area, we might take a break and then come back to it, but we are going to work through that struggle area. We'll work through it together. We will find new resources, but we're going to master that struggle area. We don't just run away from struggles. We can push through and learn those things. We practice and learn to read aloud. I have my kids read aloud to me. Our curriculum has that built in. And then I sometimes even have them do it more than the curriculum even has, especially if I think a kid is struggling with that. It's something I've noticed in a lot of kids is that they struggle to read aloud and have a good cadence and a good pacing. And so I have the kids do that with me. It may not be every single day, but that is a good practice to have kids reading aloud to you and learning to slow down, learning to be exacting in their words and calm in how they speak. We push memorizing. Memorizing is good. Our kids have Awana books that they have memorized. I encourage them to do extra Awana work depending on the kid. We have some that struggle a little more, but the goal is that we're pushing. This is what they want to do, and we're just pushing them a little bit further. Let's try a little bit harder. Can we do a little bit more? When it's nice out, we will go outside. We will go take walks. We will do our bike rides. We have a structured and productive life. We try to keep good structure, good rhythms. Kids get good bedtimes. My husband and I tend to be fairly productive people. So we are not just like coming home and vegging in front of the TV every night. There are probably a few nights that we do end up doing that. But that's not our everyday rhythm and routine. We do rest on Sundays generally. I mean, obviously things happen. But in general, our Sundays are church and rest, and then small group or family fun or something like that. We have an educationally minded household. What does that mean? It means that we have puzzles, we have educational toys, we have books, we have games, we go to museums, we go to concerts. We do those things that would naturally develop their curiosity and help build their mind. We currently have a pass to the Children's Museum, which has, especially for the younger kids, some good learning and activities. We have a zoo pass. We went to the zoo recently and we're seeing animals and talking about the animals and things. We have currently a pass to our Natural History Museum. And we've gone to that a couple times. We'll probably get at least one more time in before our pass expires. We don't have we do have a science museum now. And last year we did the science museum. So we kind of alternate what museums we do passes for each year. We like to go to national park. Well, we actually tend to go to state parks more. See my 4-day vacation video on why we go to state parks more than national parks. But we go to state parks and do those things. This does mean that we have stuff around our house. Like we have hundreds of games in our home, literally. So we have those here. We have tons of puzzles. We like to get puzzles to pull out for Christmas. And that means that and we have lots of educational toys. We have lots of different building blocks and Legos and those types of things. So I got interrupted right at the end of my video yesterday, and I just wanted to real quick finish up. We keep lots of educational items around our house and books and puzzles and games and toys so that it's a natural part of our everyday learning and gathering of things. And so that just helps encourage academic thinking and growing within our family. And so I hope that gives you some ideas on academic homeschooling. I'm now going to soon do a video on balanced homeschooling, why we don't just push and push and push, but we do have fun in our lives and how I balance all of that together. Thanks for joining us today. Please leave a comment if you have something else you'd like me to talk about or you have any questions. Please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos about what we do.